Development project has been added. Please specify a project. Please specify a project. Please specify a project. Please select a mission. Unit dispatched. Unit dispatched. Please select a mission. Mission accepted.
Is to steal an entire truck from a PF convoy. We don't have a fix on the truck we want, but the intel team has spotted the unit that's been tasked with escorting it. They're stationed at the guard post to the north of Nova Brada Airport on the Savannah. The rendezvous with our target will be at any time now. Start by heading to that guard post. Then follow the escort unit. It should lead you right to the target truck. Boss, extract them from the mission area. You can check the target details on your iDroid.
A sniper known as Quiet is lurking in the Afghan wilderness. This Quiet has performed a string of hits on Soviet officers. The attacks always occur in the same area, but sweeps of the area turn up no traces whatsoever. They've even posted guards, but they never spot a thing. And then before you know it, another body's lying on the ground. You ever heard of someone who operates like that? No matter how still and silent a person tries to be, they always create some kind of ripple. Be it breathing, a heartbeat, eating, excreting, body temperature, sweat. If this sniper can really vanish completely, that's just not human. I guess quiet is the right name. But what is quiet's objective? The local guerrillas wouldn't use this kind of tactic. Just can't see them hiring some superhuman mercenary. And the Soviet officers who've been killed, well, they were all opposed to or skeptical of the secret weapons development being conducted in the area. Sure, they were a problem for those supporting it, but the Soviets have nothing to gain by killing them. So we have an assassin with superhuman combat skills who isn't working for the guerrillas or the Soviets.
You've reached the guard post. Where's the escort unit?
Sniper's a hitman for Cipher. He thinks it's time we silence Quiet for good. But I'm against the lethal treatment. I say we bring the sniper back alive and break that silence. Because even if this Quiet doesn't say a word, there's still plenty we can learn. Just remember this, boss. If our hunch is right, you'll be on this sniper's hit list too. If things seem a little too quiet when you're in the field, watch out. Quiet's out there somewhere. And if possible, this is one sniper I want back here breathing.
Hey, you okay?
The escort unit isn't there. We must be too late. Is there anything there that might lead us to the target? Look everywhere in the guard post.
Guard post captured. Analysis.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Analysis complete.
You gotta extract him. Subject on board. Lead them. You found an intel file. Use your iDroid to scan it.
Intel file.
Perfect, boss. It's the escort plan for the transport truck. I'm putting the escort unit's predicted route on your iDroid. Get after them. They should rendezvous with the target soon.
Marker placed.
When Quiet first came here, she demonstrated her marksmanship against that enemy fighter plane. It showed she was much more than your everyday crack shot. Hitting a moving target from 600 meters is a challenge, but it's possible with the right training and equipment. But shooting down that missile, that's a world apart from taking out a soldier on patrol. The chopper and the missile were in motion, meaning different vectors at high velocity in three-dimensional space. And she shot an unguided bullet that had to fight air resistance and gravity. All that while the chopper was taking evasive maneuvers. Some of the best target leading I've ever known. She has a superhuman sense of spatial awareness. You put her in a fighter jet, and she'd be an ace right off the bat. Hell, your judgment was top class too. Realizing she could take out that pilot, that's quick thinking. You and Quiet could make a hell of a team. You'd be damn near unstoppable. Quiet is still in her cell. Only a few staff are authorized to go near her. She hasn't tried anything funny, but that's what bothers me most.
In particular?
What does she have to gain by coming to Mother Base? I first thought she was under orders from Cipher to take you out. She didn't manage it in Afghanistan, so round 2 happens here. So I lighten the guard. And that lock on her door is a joke.
You gave her an opening. And?
Well, she hasn't killed you yet. And I hate to say it, but she's had plenty of chances.
You made me the bait.
Poisonous bait. What better? Anyway, she didn't bite. Quiet is keeping her silence. So I'm left with...
He's coming too. Roger that.
We tried communicating with her through writing. That didn't work either. Whether she's illiterate, dyslexic, or just plain stubborn, she won't cooperate. I just don't get it. If she tried to contact the outside, it'd be picked up...
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
There's no sign she's had contact with the staff.
You got an intel file. Unfortunately, there's nothing new in it.
Try something, just to find out what she's up to. And she's in there putting on the failed soldier look, all downcast eyes and defeated sighs. But she doesn't kill herself. She can't be trying to leave Cipher and surrender to us.
So what's the verdict?
This may sound optimistic, but here's how I see it. Quiet came here to fulfill some objective. To kill you, maybe to destroy Diamond Dogs. Whatever it was, before she could do it, something changed her mind. Yes. When I look at her, I sense hesitation.
You think she betrays Cipher? He's coming too. Roger that.
I prefer the ones that talk. Anyway, we'll keep her under watch. And we're also looking into those special abilities of hers. You'll be the first to know if something comes up. Why not look in on her yourself once in a while?
Right.
Boss, Quiet still hasn't made any moves. It's got me thinking.
What?
If you took her on a mission, she might break her silence.
You want to let her out?
Sure. Make her no different than the others. Everyone you pick up works for themselves, right?
But her...
I say work with her. See what happens. I wouldn't ask this of anyone but you. On missions, I'll make sure we have someone observing from a distance, and she won't be allowed access to all of the base. As for Miller, well, sometimes it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. The best part is, hiding is her specialty. If no one sees her leave the base, the staff will be none the wiser.
And if she gets away?
If that happens, you'll have to take care of her. But I have faith in you, boss. I think Quiet sees something in you.
It's a big risk.
But it's for the good of all of us. And besides, you can't deny her talent. Her unique skills and abilities would give you a hell of an edge out there.
I'll think it over.
How long are we gonna keep that woman here?
You mean Quiet?
My personal feelings aside, she's putting everybody on edge. You should hear the stories. I got sick from just standing guard at her cell. I won't stand on the same platform as that witch. She hit me for no reason.
What is this, a private army or a kindergarten?
The thing is, they're all serious. They're faced with something they don't understand, and a kind of mass hysteria has broken out. I've gotten wind of countless plots to take her out.
There are no grounds for this suspicion whatsoever. Put yourself in her shoes, assuming they see her as a prisoner here. No, even more so, if they do, she deserves to be treated humanely. I always thought our men were a bit more noble-minded, but... Look, I understand this is a stressful line of work, but to make her the scapegoat...
You've got it wrong. Quiet? She's with Cipher. We have men that lost their buddies to her organization.
You could say that about more than just her. Plenty of the men used to fight for another side. But they've all put that aside to work for the boss.
Cypher is different. And if you ask me, the boss is the biggest problem. Why is he protecting her? Some of the guys are starting to suspect him. I don't agree with keeping her here either.
So what's your move? Throw her out? Kill her? She's our ticket to Cypher. And her physical abilities are outstanding. We could use someone like her.
That'll make me sick.
Her marksmanship, speed, stealth capabilities for a start. Then, there are the other things we've learned. Quiet appears to be able to use both eyes as master eyes simultaneously. That lets her track targets of different focal lengths at once. While looking through the scope with one eye, she can look for new targets with the other.
There they are. The escort unit's armored vehicles. Is the target with them?
No matter the circumstances.
See, I told you she's a freak. No one would be able to control her.
No, there's one person who could.
Hey, you trying to get the boss
That
killed?
truck is the target. Extract it out of the mission area. You can also drive it out of the hot zone yourself.
It's his decision to make. The two of them might even make a good team.
Boss, get down. The enemy sniper. Stay low and crawl along the ground. That should enable you to sneak past enemies.
It wasn't just Cypher. Back in the Caribbean, every eye in the world was turned on us. A private army, just a bunch of guys with guns, in possession of a nuke? Why wouldn't they be uncomfortable?
And that's why you made sure the inspection happened.
Well, I thought our best move was to prove to the UN through the IAEA that we had no nuke. Of course, I was against us having it in the first place, but that was Snake's decision.
The boss wasn't responsible.
Well, don't get me wrong, I still believed in Snake. I thought I was making the best decision for all of us, that's all. I figured we should get a third party to exonerate us before proof of the nuke did get out. And who better to do that than an organization with international authority?
So the truth is, you took it upon yourself to agree to an inspection arranged by the UN. Only the inspection was a ruse, and Cypher Strike Force XOF showed up instead.
I had no idea that would happen.
Enough bullshit!
Oh, sure, like I could have known. You know, I was just trying to prove our innocence to the world. What's wrong with that?
We're not interested in the excuses you thought up. The truth is objective.
Just see it from my point of view.
You led XOF to the control tower. They seized it, giving them complete control over the base. Moments later, they detonated C4 on the strut legs. Anyone who'd managed to survive was hunted down by the assault force and their choppers.
You can't believe I did that on purpose.
That was the end of Mother Base. But it wasn't the end for you.
How can you... Look, think about it. I lost something too. I built Zeke and it got buried underwater. I am a victim.
That raises the big questions. Why were you the only one spared? You got away without a scratch. Why did Strangelove leave the base on the eve of the inspection? You two were close.
Strangelove?
And how did you manage to build something that surpasses Zeke in every way? Because you did everything they told you. You're the only one who didn't lose a thing. That is the truth.
I was taken away against my will. Skullface forced me to do his research these past 9 years. He used me. I lost 9 years.
9 years. We all lost 9 years. It wasn't just you.
I suppose blaming me makes you feel better, does it? But Who's gonna give me back all the time I lost?
You're not getting anything back.
You're not a victim here, Emmerich. You're the perpetrator.
I didn't know anything.
Nobody can back that up.
Yeah, all the evidence is at the bottom of the ocean.
You know the hardest man to break. The type who's fooling himself. That takes time. It's easier to live a convenient lie than a painful truth. Is that the piece you've chosen, Doc?
I'm not lying.
Of course. Just let me check one or two things. On that day, you were in the control tower with them. Lucky you. That's how you got out unscathed. And you escaped on one of their choppers. Only you, right before the base went under.
They had me blindfolded the whole time. I've never been so scared. The whole flight, I thought they'd kill me. But thinking of you kept me going. My comrades, all the way.
And?
There was a plane journey, then we traveled by road. When they finally took off the blindfold, I was in kind of a warehouse, on the floor. Afghanistan, it was that research lab. I couldn't believe they'd taken me halfway around the world. And soon enough, he came.
Skullface.
Who's really behind that mother base? He forced me into that research.
What kind of research?
He told me...
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
The Soviet Union. Like Peace Walker. A system that could fire an ICBM-class nuclear weapon. That's how the Sahelanthropus project got started.
Sahelanthropus.
He's coming too. Roger that.
The weapons I've made in Costa Rica were like toys by comparison.
Extract him.
World apart from reptilian four-legged crawling and that ridiculous hunched-over bipedal waddling. My design evolved to the dawn of mankind. Sahelanthropus, the first steps towards humanity. An upright bipedal weapon system.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Sahelanthropus was going to be a manned weapons platform. I designed a cockpit in its head, and I planned to fill it with water as a buffering agent.
Like how Paz modified Zeke for human control.
Don't
You gotta extract him.
to some amateur. I designed it for human control from the beginning. The problem was miniaturizing the posture control AI. You remember the reptile pod?
The AI that controlled your unmanned weapons.
Attaching it externally makes it vulnerable. So this time I wanted it beneath the armor. Meaning
Boss, the target has reached Kaziba camp. We don't have much time left. Hurry.
without any loss in computation speed. But it was still too big for the cockpit. There wasn't enough room for the pilot. If I made the head bigger, its body would have to be bigger to support it. Too big to be practical. In the end, human piloting was taken off the table. I tested a remote control system too, but there was the time lag and I wasn't satisfied with its precision either. Plus, it would be useless if the enemy jammed it. So next, I went back to trying an AI-only system. To do that, I had the AI pods recovered from Nicaragua. This was a hybrid AI, a combination of Peace Walker's reptile and mammal pods. The only AIs that had ever successfully operated an unmanned nuclear weapon system.
Really? You'd need some help to get that working. Expert help.
Did you work with someone?
I worked alone.
You did that yourself.
That's the thing. The AI didn't pan out in the end either. But I did finally get Sahelanthropus walking by folding over its upper body to lower its center of gravity. The first upright bipedal locomotive weapon system in the history of mankind. I guess technically it falls into the anthropoid ape category.
I don't see the benefit of having it stand taller.
On terrain with significant differences in elevation like Afghanistan, you need a body that's vertically adaptable. That also lets it attack from long range while using mountain...
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Making it walk upright was the most important factor in giving it superior height capability. As the name suggests, that was the whole point of Sahalanthropus.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Being pushed for results. Having the AI mounted externally would have been the fastest way to get it
That
working.
soldier, he isn't with the CFA. What could be so important that it would require 2 major PFs to guard it?
Wait. You dismissed the idea of AI control and took Sahalanthropus away from me before I could finish.
Walking when it came after you.
Scott, if these bastards are pulling guard duty, that proves the cargo is headed to Cipher.
Without a pilot or an AI. And walking at that speed, too. It's beyond anything I could have imagined. This is like the Wright brothers making it to the moon. I'm just as clueless as you are.
So this Sahalanthropus, where is it now?
I have no idea. All my experiments took place at that cave. I've never seen it anywhere else. Besides, it's still just an incomplete prototype at this point, and nothing but a paper tiger. Even if it can walk, it's far from being a viable weapons platform. It wouldn't be useful in actual battle.
Emmerich will remain here at Mother Base for now, but not as a member of Diamond Dogs. I still don't trust him. That work for you? Fine by me. He can't be allowed any contact with staff either.
Yeah. A lot of the guys would love some payback for 9 years ago. We still need him alive.
You've completed your objective. Now get out of the hot zone.
He can only go where we tell him. And of course, the interrogations will continue. He worked for that skull bastard for nearly a decade. He still has more to tell us.
How long are we gonna press him?
If our investigation shows he really had nothing to do with the attack, we'll reconsider his place here. But I don't expect that to happen. Remember that water tank-shaped object in Emmerich's lab in the Soviet base camp? The thing that started talking to you like a possessed answering machine. That was a pod build for housing the
Roger.
used to control unmanned weapons. You remember, back in '74 in Costa Rica, it was in those machines you fought there. They were designated Pupa, Chrysalis, Cocoon, and Basilisk, and each of them was fitted with an AI unit called a reptile pod. Emmerich created it. It mainly handled the machine's posture control and autonomous behavior. But the Basilisk, aka Peace Walker, also featured a second AI pod. That one was called the Mammal Pod, and it was created by Dr. Strangelove. She tried to recreate the boss's personality through the Mammal Pod, but you pulled out its memory boards. That's when it transferred its own functions to its reptile pod. Just like a human brain compensating for damage by using the remaining healthy parts. The result was a unique entity. A hybrid of the reptile and the mammal. It sank to the bottom of Lake Nicaragua with Peace Walker. But apparently they salvaged it and transported it to that lab. Don't let it deceive you, Snake.
Snake, talk to me! Snake!
Extract the PF transport truck. Throw a wrench into Cypher's plans. You can check the target's location on your iDroid.
Please supplies requested. Supply drop complete. Please select a strike point. Strike requested. will commence shortly.
Ik zie een rook. Dan mag vijanden in het gebied weer. Over.
Er is CNT, begrijp. Bescherm securiteit en wees wakker. Uit!
Was verkeerd. Kom maar zo wat in. Schipper de Zulu 2. Ik heb iets die moeite waard hier. Hoe moet ons voortgaan? Over.
Er is CNT, begrijp. Bescherm securiteit en wees wakker. Uit!
These bastards are pulling guard duty. That proves the cargo is headed to Cipher.
Please select a strike point. Please select a strike point. Please select a strike point. Support helicopter requested. Marker placed. Marker placed. Marker placed.
This is B-Quad. Approaching position.
extract the PF transport truck. Throw a wrench into Cipher's plans. You can check the target's location on your iDroid.
Enemy presence detected. Map has been updated. Please select a drop point. Please select a drop point. Supplies requested. So please select the supplies requested. Supply drop complete. Please select a drop point. Supplies requested. Supply drop complete.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Hier Peter, Delta 3. Tekens van vijandige activiteit. Verskerp securiteit. Oor. CPF, begrijp. Beschiet die omgeving. Uit.
Please select a landing zone. A support helicopter
Roger.
requested.
Bastards are pulling guard duty. That proves the cargo is headed to Cipher.
Activating stealth assist.
Extract the PF transport truck. Throw a wrench into Cypher's plans. You can check the target's location on your iDroid.
Supplies requested.
Hey, quit kidding around. Snake? Snake!
Extract the PF transport truck. Throw a wrench into Cypher's plans. You can check the target's location on your iDroid.
Supplies requested. Supply drop complete. Please supplies requested. Supply drop complete. Please supplies requested. Supply drop complete.
Us? What were you thinking? Target destroyed.
Extract the PF transport truck. Throw a wrench into Cypher's plans. You can check the target's location on your iDroid.
Supplies requested. Supply drop complete.
Bastards are pulling guard duty. That proves the cargo is headed to Cipher. Leave the mission area by chopper or by land.
Exfiltrated hot zone. Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Development project has been added.
Mission complete. Boss, we searched the truck you recovered. There were two primary types of cargo. First, drums of malachite, a copper ore. That took up most of the truck bed. But malachite isn't valuable enough to warrant an escort. The real cargo was likely the second item, a shielding container. The contents, yellow cake. That's right, the raw material for a nuclear weapon. That might point to the weapon to surpass Metal Gear Emmerich told us about. But who can say? Thing is, there isn't a lot of it. Not enough to make a nuclear warhead. Give us some time. We'll look into it. Try to figure out why they had this under such close guard.
Good. You captured it alive.
Side ops list updated.
Boss, this is an emergency.
Mission list
We had two
updated.
intel team agents undercover at the PF, Contract Forces of Africa. The CFA have captured them both. They don't have long to live. You've got to get them out of there ASAP. This means Cipher might be getting wind of our existence. We may need to move more cautiously from now on. I just hope this incident has nothing to do with them. I've added the details to your mission list. Don't let him down, boss.
Marker placed. Marker placed. Marker removed. Please select a drop point. Supplies requested. Extraction arrived at enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Supply drop complete. Analysis enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Ek hoor jy is besig met 'n paar winsgewende dinge. Jy begelei daai handel.
Wat gaan aan?
Guard post captured.
Coming too. Roger that. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
We've heard there's an Afrikaans English interpreter operating somewhere in that area. If you extract him, he could be plenty useful for us.
Arrived at Mother Base. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. You have arrived at your destination. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Analysis complete. Analysis complete. Analysis
That's the
complete.
target.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. The map has been updated. Completed. Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Please select a mission. Mission accepted. The map has been updated. Plant expansion complete. Please support helicopter
Roger.
requested. Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Arriving shortly at LZ. This is P-Quad. On station at LZ.
Marker placed. Marker removed.
Gaining altitude.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Commencing platform construction. Please select a mission. Please specify a project. 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 Please select a mission. Unit dispatched. Please select a mission. Mission accepted. Deploying.
Intel team members are being held captive by the PF in that area, the CFA. Your job is to rescue them. They don't have long to live. It appears that one of our 2 men has broken out of the encampment and is on the run. He contacted us to say he was surrounded. That's the last we heard from him. Your map is marked with a predicted field of movement based on where his transmissions cut off. The other man is still captive inside the encampment. Boss, rescue our men. Extract them both and get them back to Mother Base.
The map has been updated. Land expansion complete.
Be careful down there, boss.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. The map has been updated. You have arrived at your destination. Analysis complete.
Gazebo camp, an enemy outpost. It's got good visibility and not many places to hide. Use the landscape wherever possible.
Analysis complete. has been updated.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. He's coming too. Roger that.
Extraction arrived at
That's him.
Motherboss.
That's the target.
Has been
He's injured.
updated.
Looks half-starved too. There's no way he can stand the shock of a Fulton extraction. Get him out by chopper.
They kept saying the disease was her fault. Just shouting it at me. Over
Please select a landing
and
zone.
over. Kept saying, you think we're angry? The poor bastards from Massa Village will bleed you all dry for this.
Hallo Status, dit is Cipher. Bestel ons net afgeslaan. Lyk soos 'n probleem met die kragvorm. Die koördinateurs gaan kyk na die kragstelsel.
Our staff member on the run last contacted us from that forest. The enemy PF already has troops spread out in a manhunt to find him. Keep your eyes open. Extract our man before their search team can find him. Check his location on your iDroid.
Ons moet uitcheck. Kom ons vaai.
Cipher, dis Louis hier. Ons het reis in hierdie gebied te beveilig. Moet ons voortgaan. Oor. Dis Cipher, begryp. Staan vas. Mag verder bevelen.
You gonna extract him? Good. If he's gone to ground, he'll have hidden himself somewhere in that area. Find him.
Cipher, dit is Louis hier. Staan by
We
vir
got some information out of that soldier you extracted. The squad was on their way to the encampment to execute our intel team member.
You have arrived at your destination.
Alles skiet verder, dis Cipher. Ons is in volle kontak met vijandige maag. Alle eenhede berei voor vir aanval.
You have arrived at your destination.
Alright, that's the target. Quickly, extract him while you can.
Cipher is still there.
Now, rescue the other target.
been updated. Caution, rain approaching.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
The map has been updated. Enemy presence.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Has been updated.
Zeker is down 6. Visuele contact houden. Keer terug naar laatste bekende positie.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Louis, dat zit hier. Mooi die voor iedereen van lang die vijanden gelijk. Hoor. Dat is Louis, Papi. Blijf vast voor op hier aanval. Hey.
You gonna extract him?
Please select a landing zone. Landing zone
Roger.
enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Support helicopter.
Okay, subject is in.
Arriving shortly at LZ.
GPS Delta 9. Zeg op taak voor de weg. Hoe speed was het?
This is P-Quad. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by.
Support helicopter has arrived.
Confirmed extraction of both targets. Boss, on behalf of all the Diamond Dogs, thank you.
GPS Delta 9.
Warning.
Dat je wacht wordt als het gebied van kan. Hoor. CPF begrijp. Zoek een elke hoek.
Nice work.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Development project has been added.
Yes, mission complete. Boss, that was exceptional. Boss, one of the job offers we received concerns me.
Mission list
There's a PF
updated.
commander who's been talking big about getting into the nuclear arms trade. This could be connected to that yellow cake.
Development project.
And there's another contract I'd like you to handle. It's a wet job, but we need to divert Cypher's attention. Check the mission list for the details.
Please select a mission. Unit dispatched. Please specify a project. Please specify a project. Please specify a project. Commencing platform construction. Commencing platform construction. Please specify a project. Please specify a project. Please select a mission. Weather will clear shortly.
There are 6 targets. They're soldiers. The contract is to kill them all. They used to be with a platoon of Mbeli rebels, but then the Buto authorities captured them. There are 2 locations, the Bampevi plantation and the Kungenga mine. The client is none other than the general they served under. He wants them dead to keep them from talking. A commander murdering his former men. That's what this boils down to. We have a new assignment. Eliminate the commander of Rogue Coyote, one of the PFs operating in Africa. The target is simply the Major to his men. That's his rank from his army days. Instead of your typical boots-on-the-ground work, he's more of a job broker and a recruiter. And apparently he also runs a little espionage operation on the side. Which could explain why he's picked up a long list of enemies. I don't like getting involved in a PF pissing match any more than you do. But there's another reason we took this job. Recently, this guy's been talking about dealing in nuclear arms. Think back to the shipment that Cipher was having ZRS transport. If we put the squeeze on this Major, we might come out of it with some new intel on Cipher.
Mission accepted.
Objective is to eliminate the PF commander they call the Major. One of the Major's subordinates working undercover with the CFA is due to make contact with him. Check his current location on your iDroid. Follow him, and he should lead you right to the Major.
Where is she?
You mean quiet?
Emmerich will remain here at Mother Base for now, but not as a member of Diamond Dogs. I still don't trust him. That work for you?
Fine by me. He can't be allowed any contact with staff either.
Yeah. A lot of the guys would love some payback for 9 years ago. We still need him alive. But we have to restrict his movements. He can only go where we tell him. And of course, the interrogations will continue. He worked for that skull bastard for nearly a decade. He still has more to tell us. How long are we gonna press him? If our investigation shows he really had nothing to do with the attack,
Analysis complete.
we'll reconsider his place here.
Analysis complete.
But I don't expect that to happen.
Analysis complete.
Remember that water tank-shaped object in Emmerich's lab in the Soviet base camp?
Analysis complete.
The thing that started talking to you like a
Analysis
possessed answering machine. That was a pod built for housing the AI used to control unmanned weapons. You remember, back in '74 in Costa Rica. It was in those machines you fought there. They were designated Pupa, Chrysalis, Cocoon, and Basilisk. And each of them was fitted with an AI unit called a reptile pod. Emmerich created it. It mainly handled the machine's posture control and autonomous behavior. But the Basilisk, aka Peace Walker, also featured a second AI pod. That one was called the Mammal Pod. And it was created...
Target's man should be somewhere around there.
She tried to recreate the boss's personality through the Mammal Pod. But you pulled out its memory boards. That's when it transferred its own functions to its reptile pod. Just like a human brain compensating for damage by using the remaining healthy parts. The result was a unique entity. A hybrid of the reptile and the mammal. It sank to the bottom of Lake Nicaragua with Peter on it.
Stay on him.
Apparently they salvaged it and transported it to that lab. Don't let it deceive you, Snake. It may sound like the boss, but it has neither a personality nor a will. Like Emmerich says, it's just a machine.
Fix on the target, not even a predicted field of movement. All we have to go on is this meeting with his subordinate. Remember, this guy will call the meeting off if he thinks he's being tailed. You've got to do everything you can to stay out of sight. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Extraction arrived at Metabase.
You called that thing Sahelanthropus. Where does the name come from?
Well, several years ago, an excavation team discovered a hominid skull in the Sahel region.
Central Africa, the Southern Sahara.
Cipher gave the specimen the name Sahelanthropus, Man of Sahel. And then they covered the whole thing up.
Why?
They probably wanted to monopolize information about human evolution to have a head start in their genetic research. At least, until they had an idea of what they'd found.
It was that big of a discovery, huh?
Sahelanthropus was a gracile hominid, estimated to have lived about 7 million years ago. What's significant about it is how its skull's foramen magnum faces down. In other words, its spinal column supported its head from underneath.
It stood upright.
Right. which would mean Sahelanthropus walked upright 3 million years before Australopithecus, making it the world's oldest human species.
Walking upright. I get it. Hence the name Sahelanthropus for your machine.
His vehicle stopped.
Upright was
Is that where he's meeting the target?
between our ancestors and other anthropoids. Our brains could get heavier once they were supported by the spinal column. That led to the use of tools and the development of complex communication through language. Only man is capable of this. My creation will be the progenitor of all bipedal weapon platforms.
And you did this for Cipher.
No, not at all. Sahelanthropus is the best proof that I never betrayed you guys.
What do you mean?
The reconstructed Sahelanthropus skull looked exactly like the skull we used as our logo 9 years ago in the Caribbean.
An army without a nation. Outside the world order.
The design was based on Pangea, the supercontinent that existed 250 million years ago, right?
He's coming too. Roger that.
It was a single landmass. That concept's at the source of our strength.
I felt the same way about Sahelanthropus. Sure, I was forced to build it under their orders, but I always wanted to put its technology back in our hands someday. That's the reason I incorporated the old insignia into Sahelanthropus's name. Don't you see? That's how much I was thinking about you guys.
Oh, I see, all right. I see someone desperate to cover his ass. You can say whatever you want after the fact. But that skull also symbolizes somebody else. Skullface.
Snake, you finally came. Just don't record this, okay?
Not recording anything.
You gonna extract him?
What I'm about to say stays between you and me. It's about the weapon to surpass Metal Gear. You know a researcher by the name of Clark? He works in the biotech industry.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Is bioengineering, but lately he's also gotten into genetic research.
Never heard of him.
Well then, what do you know about cloning?
I think I've heard enough.
Hold on, this is important. Cloning lets you create a genetic copy.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Take the nucleus of one of its cells, and you swap it with the nucleus of an unfertilized egg from another member of the same species. They started out working with plants, but since then they've had success with other organisms, including mammals. It's a hot area for a lot of places right now. Corporations, universities, research groups. There's no shortage of scientists out to get famous and patent their work, with morality taking a back seat.
Isn't that a little outside your field?
That's an enemy gunship. A single burst from his machine gun could cut a man in half. Tread carefully, boss.
Dr. Clark, I mean.
Go on.
Now, this is really highly classified stuff, but I've heard that an American biotech company has successfully cloned a human being. What's more, it happened over 10 years ago, and the researcher behind it was Dr. Clark. You've really never heard of him?
I don't meet many doctors.
This Dr. Clark is a complete ghost, even to others in his field. His age, where he comes from, that might not be his real name. And I can't even say for sure he's a he. Clark's employer, ATGC, its company motto is embracing your hopes.
That looks like the target.
What does this have to do with me?
Cipher. Dr. Clark works for ATGC, and they have connections to DARPA. Cipher couldn't function without the communications network DARPA's built. Meaning, Cipher has to be a part of the Pentagon. Or at least, the two are joined at the hip. DARPA is a driving force behind human cloning. It's a pretty high priority project for them. And this Dr. Clark, some say he's a pivotal player in Cipher. But that's not all. Every cell nucleus in an organism contains the genetic information for that organism. Think of it as a blueprint for life. Clark appears to be working on how to decode this information and rearrange it at will. If you could do that, it would mean being able to custom design human beings for specific purposes. Can you believe that? Suppose for a moment that this is all fact. A man of your talents, if your genetic information died with you, that would be a terrible loss for mankind. But what if mankind could preserve you for future generations by cloning you?
All right, enough. I get the idea.
Look, I know it's inductive reasoning, but this weapon to surpass Metal Gear they're developing in Africa, I believe it's something that uses this new technology. Speaking as a fellow scientist, it's me to the bone.
That's rich coming from you.
If genes serve as our blueprint, then I wonder if they include an impulse that drives us to tweak the design. Can you imagine that? Genes encoded with information that wants its children to decode it. Is life itself putting the direction of our next evolution in the hands of science?
You gonna extract him?
I guess it would take some real arrogance to believe that. And yet...
Okay, subject is in. We'll get the rest out of him back at base.
But that was an interesting story. It'd make a good movie.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Believe me.
Where'd you hear all this anyway?
Where? I just overheard it in bits and pieces while I was forced to do that research for them.
Right.
Wait a minute. Look.
You gonna extract him?
I want to be of service here. I'm risking my life with this.
Is that so? Maybe it's time we brought someone else into the conversation.
No, not him. Not Ocelot. You can't do this.
Supplies requested.
Boss, I have the report on that cargo we stole from Cypher's truck. The PF was transporting two things. The analysis of that malachite has come back first. Naturally, the main compound is copper. There's also a small amount of cobalt. Nothing unusual so far. Southern Zaire is a well-known copper belt. However, in addition to these, we also detected a trace amount of uranium. The content percentage, though, is too low for nuclear development. It most likely came from Shinkalobwe mine. That's where the uranium in that area comes from. The mine's closed, as all the high-purity uranium ore dried up a long time ago. But you could probably still find it there in small quantities. That said, there are plenty of other uranium mines that are in operation, like in Niger, Namibia, South Africa. Why go to an abandoned mine to scrape up whatever's left and ship it out in mass quantities without refining it? They were transporting that yellow cake too, which would suggest they have the technology to refine uranium. Anyway, that about sums it up. Unfortunately, the analysis of that yellow cake is taking a little longer. I'll let you know when it's done.
Analysis complete. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Caution, rain approaching. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Analysis complete. Sun will rise momentarily. extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Yes, mission complete. Boss, that was exceptional. Spilled his guts all right. His nuclear arms business was just a rumor he was paid to spread around. He doesn't even know who's paying him. All his instructions came through a cutout. But hell, who else would be behind it but Cipher? And this nuclear arms trading is clearly connected to that yellow cake. He thought the same thing, which is why he tried to investigate ZRS himself. He said something else that caught my attention. That ZRS are trying to kill some old man. How did one old man get that kind of attention? Boss, about those walker gears spreading all over Africa, Huey's got an idea for a counter-weapon. Come on back to base.
This. It's a variable, multi-legged tank. A spin-off of Metal Gear technology.
Big fan of spin-offs, isn't he? I hear he borrowed from the Soviets in Costa Rica, too.
The design allows for a lot of freedom in setups. It's based around a central core unit, so you can quickly reconfigure the hardware to suit any sort of mission parameters.
What the good doctor's trying to say is that it's customizable.
Naturally, it will raise the probability of success for standard missions. But it functions as an improved deterrent by increasing your preemptive strike capability against enemy elements. You just deploy it in a war zone, and its superior firepower puts the brakes on enemy attacks. Eventually, the whole war machine grinds to a halt. A true battle gear!
Cause I'm having deja vu here.
I don't like him any more than you. But we need this.
You think it'll cut it in the field?
Turning radius is better than any tanks. That's great for regional skirmishes. Tech like this is popping up all among the PFs. Best way to deal with them is to fight fire with fire.
I'll await your instructions then, boss.
So do we have your approval to commence development?
Fine.
Consider yourself off the chopping block, Doctor. Boss, welcome back.
Go for them, not me. That's enough. Two plus two equals 5. 2 plus 2 equals 5. That won't work on me. I've had drug resistance training. Hallelujah.
Please specify a project. Please select a drop. Please specify a project. Please specify a project. Please specify a project. Please select a landing zone. Landing zone confirmed.
Roger.
Arriving shortly at LZ. This is B-Quad. On station at LZ. Gaining altitude.
Please select a mission.